has a litany of successes and accomplishments in his repertoire. You know, he's been here before, but everything he's done has been extremely impactful. DB, you want to pick it up from here, would you please?
Let me see. Directed Soul Food, directed Men of Honor. We just had Cuba Gooding Jr. here.
Oh, great.
So that was a very powerful film. You were the producer of the Barbershop films, Barbershop 2, Back in Business, and Beauty Shop as well.
Yep.
Soul Food, the television series, which
Yep.
was another successful venture of yours. And now you're the director and producer of this film, which I thought was interesting because you did Notorious.
Yep.
In this film, The Hate You Give actually stands for Thug, which is a continuation of Thug Life, Tupac's tattoo.
Yep.
The Hate You Give director. He's here, George Tillman Jr.
There it is, man.
Thank you.
What an amazing movie for me to watch. You know, it's about a family that's trying to exist in a community that has a lot of different layers and complexity around it, dealing with race, dealing with classism, if you will, dealing with police brutality, dealing with legacy. You know, it's really interesting, and it started off when the movie started off. Oh, the movie is. I can't talk too much about it. Oh shit!
Spoiler alert!
Yo,
Hello.
okay,
Cut out his mic.
Damn, I'm about to go in, man. I have to say this because the thing that appealed to me is there's an opening scene. This is a black family where the father and the mother are sitting down with the kids and giving them instructions on how to react to police when you're being pulled over. And then the father is also dictating to the kids or having them dictate back the 10-point program that was created by the Black Panther Party 52 years ago now, 52 years ago as of October 15th. Why was that the way you chose to start this movie and set the tone?
Yeah, that was very important because I felt, you know, when the book is amazing, by the way. Angie Thomas did the novel. It's been #1 for 83 weeks, so I was just blown away by it. But a lot of people don't know about the talk outside our culture.
Okay.
The talk is the birds and the bees for them. It's not about survival. It's not about having your kids know how to react around a police officer. I had that in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Several uncles and my father dealt that to me when I was about 8 years old. Never seen that in the film before. And I just felt like it was very important. One other thing that's very important is the man who's actually giving the talk is a father. He has, you know, he got the braids and he got tattoos. In most Hollywood films, you think that's a bad guy. And this is a working guy who believes he's reformed, but he believes in his family. He believes in history. And right away, I just wanted to set the tone for that so the audience outside of the African-American culture wouldn't understand what people go through.
And that's what I thought was important because I do think in this culture, in today's society, it's a lack of empathy. And, you know, and I think the only way people are going to be able to develop that is either through personal experience or through the arts. You know what I mean? And so by doing that, I thought you set a really important tone. And then also, this black family is like any other American family. You know, it's two parents who want the best for their kids. You know, and in doing so, they even send their kids off. Man, we want something better for you than we have for ourselves. And so they send them off to private school.
Yep, exactly. And I want to give love to Regina Hall and Russell Hornsby.
Regina Hall.
And
Russell.
Yeah, they represent. We don't really see ourselves with parents who are very central, very loving, with a lot of history. They got some contrasts and conflicts with each other. How they want to, you know, Mav, who played by Russell Hornsby, wants to stay in the community. The mom wants them to go out into a private school and maybe move out of the neighborhood. So they got their own little issues that I remember having with my parents as well. But eventually we see why the community is very important. We see a loving family that stay together. This young girl witnessed this shooting. She's navigating these two worlds, but that's going to be compromised now when she has to stand up and has to say something. Who's going to be there for your family? And that's what's the important thing for me.
Who did you, because the young girl's story, how you say her name?
Amandla Stenberg.
Amandla Stenberg.
Yep.
What a powerful, incredible actress. And I couldn't help but to look at her and see my own child, you know what I mean, who's of young age. And what I thought was ironic is that talk that we had as youth. You know, recently she was pulled over, you know, for a speeding ticket or for like a ticket had something to do with registration. But she was most concerned about her life. you know. And I'm sitting there thinking, you got pulled over for registration. But then I had to step back and put myself in her mentality that in this day and age, she's fearing the same things that we feared growing up in the 70s and 80s. And I think people forget that it's become so normalized that we kind of dismiss this fear that our kids are walking around with.
Yeah. You know, the crazy thing is I was in Atlanta last week. We had a screening down there. After the screening, I was walking out. Somebody tapped my shoulder, said, "Can I take a picture?" It was a family of 5. And I took a picture, and they said, "Thank you." He said, and I said, "You're welcome." He said, "Thank you for the movie. We're the Emmett Till. We're part of the Emmett Till family." And I was just like, wow, man, it just hit me right there, you know, because his mom gave him the talk and how to act in Mississippi. Yeah. Because it was completely different for him. That was like 60, maybe 55, 60 years ago. So it's still happening. So as a filmmaker, I asked myself, how can I contribute? What can I do, you know, to show the difference and show how we can be able to heal, how we can be able to inform. As Angie Thomas always says, you know, empathy is better than sympathy. And that's really what we want to explore, you know, like the shooting with Khalil. Yeah. The difference between Starr, played by Amandla Stenberg, and Khalil is he was a single parent. He didn't have a father that was there to put your hands, to be able to reiterate how to act around a police officer. While Starr had a family there that was around, surrounding her, loving her, always there for her. So it's all these layers that I felt was important as an African-American filmmaker that I wanted to bring to the table.
I feel like I'm telling the whole movie, but it's an awesome movie. The Hate You Give is playing in limited theaters now, but it expands nationwide on the 19th, which is this Thursday, right? You also did something that I found really interesting. Common is in this movie, and Common kind of plays on the other team. He's a police officer, and there's a point in the movie where he's talking to the lead character, Starr, who's really going through it. She's traumatized by witnessing her childhood friend being shot and murdered by a police officer, and didn't understand how it all came to be. And then Common took the role that, you know, gave us the perspective from out of the lens from a police officer's eyes. And really broke it down to the point where if you have any logic, you know, if you got any logic about you, you could kind of see where a police officer is coming from. How did you write that? Did you consult police officers?
No, that was in the book. That was something. That was in the book. Now, that was something that Angie Thomas, her uncle was a police officer. And I thought it was really interesting. And from a lot of things that I felt, all my research and coming up to the movie, I really believe in that scene says, no matter if you're a black cop or a white cop, it's the system that's the issue. Is what's being taught to African American police officers and white police officers, where all this stuff comes from. You know, from if you track that all the way back to slavery patrols, you know, slave patrols, and how the police officers are conducted and what they are taught. So overseers. Yes. That's if you know. So that's all back to Common. And what I love is her father named her Starr because she's a superhero. So not only is she learning about herself and finding her voice, she's enlightening all those other characters, the Haleys, you know, the white characters that say the wrong thing to you and they think they controlling your narrative, or the father, you know, being that she got this white boyfriend. So she's enlightening all these different things that I love that what her character really do.
Great movie, The Hate You Give. George Tillman Jr. is here. We're going to take your phone calls as well.
Yeah, George, you know what? It's always interesting to me where, let's just say Leonardo DiCaprio drops a new film. Like, people of all colors go. You don't think of it as like a white film. But if something is dubbed a quote-unquote black film because it just happens the majority of the cast is black, I noticed that there are a large handful of white folks who feel like it's not for them. You know what I mean? What would you say to that?
You know what? That's something I'm still figuring out. Like you mentioned Men of Honor. Like, you know, that movie, I had De Niro in that movie. So I was able to get a lot of white audience in because of De Niro. This is a movie that doesn't have that. What I've been doing over the last 5 months has been going all over, just showing the movie, because a lot of white individuals have been embracing the movie when they see it. But how do you get them to go to the theater?
Right.
You know what I mean? That's been the key. And when they there, they totally, wow, I didn't get that. I didn't know about the talk. I didn't know. They didn't know none of these things, or how, the whole jail system. How drugs is infiltrated into our neighborhoods. They don't know these things.
Of course not.
But what they are able to recognize is, wow, this young girl and this family. That reminds me of my family. I want the best for my daughter. I want to have a voice too. So they are embracing the movie when they see it. But I've been traveling all around telling them, please go see it.
I understand.
Being that Angie Thomas wrote this original novel, which the movie is based on, and a lot of times the way you read things in a novel play differently when you adapt it to the screen. The characters may change, certain plot points may change because it plays out better in a film. So how do you take what the novel's core is and make it a movie without, especially with a story like this that's so powerful, without altering too much and making it kind of like, well, this is my vision, like that's the book.
Yeah, that's one of the key I was trying to do, is really capture the spirit of the book and the feeling, because it was so popular among young people and adults as well. The key was really, for me, was having Angie Thomas around, and the second key was the first time out of all the films I ever done, I just went from here. Sometimes when you do something, you research, you do all this, and you watch other stuff, and then you make the movie. This was the first time like, no, I'm going to live and die from here. And I just came from just me being black and just for all these years of living. And that's how that's how Common, we all came and said, let's just be honest with everything and live and die with that. And I think audience can appreciate that. So that's was capturing that spirit for me.
That's what I felt. Yeah, very honest. I want to open up the phone lines too. George Tillman Jr. is here, 888-742-3345. And we're talking about the movie The Hate You Give, which is out nationwide Friday, the 19th. I said Thursday. I don't know what I was thinking there, George.
Oh, good.
I'll take the blame for that.
Yeah, I wanted it to come sooner than later, bro. Let's get to it, man. All right, give us a call, Sway in the Morning, Shea 45.
Something for my godson Elijah.
On the Angie Thomas 2017 novel of the same name. A lot of great actors are in this. Anthony Mackie is in it. Good friend of mine. Yes. Sabrina Carpenter plays a strong role. I don't know Sabrina Carpenter as well, but she played the white girl really. She's a white girl, but she played it really well.
Yeah, she did a great job. She said some crazy stuff in the movie, don't she?
She said some crazy stuff, and she says it really comfortably. In that. But what was it like for her in this role? Did she express any challenges?
You know what? I thought it would be, but she read the script and wanted to learn. She felt she wanted to do this movie because she really felt like it was a very important film to be done. So she's a great actress, man.
She's a great actress, a great singer too. Issa Rae is in this.
Hey.
Yep. And she plays an activist attorney.
Yep, she killed it, man. She has this powerful scene at the funeral. And Issa, man, she was very supportive. I love her show, man. She's just killing the game.
Insecure, that's a banger.
That's a banger.
Top of my list right there.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because of the film's association with Tupac and the influence that he had. Plus, you have a character in there named Brenda, which I don't know if that was just in the book that just happened to be named Brenda. But were there any obstacles because even though it's in the book, but using the licensing and things like that for the film, the music, Tupac's name?
Yeah, no, this is something that was in the book that Angie's. That's her. Tupac is her guy, and also we really wanted to get the Tupac estate involved. So they saw the film a few months ago.
That's good.
And we just feel like that philosophy again, just like the Black Panthers philosophy at 92, 93 when he came up with that, it's still.
Say the acronym again. Thug Life stands for
The Hate You Give. Little infants come back to fuck everyone.
Everybody.
Yep.
And you'll see that at the end of this movie too.
Yeah.
I won't get too much. I don't want to give it all away.
Give that one away.
Yeah, I'm not gonna give that all away. Algee Smith, who plays Khalil, is a star, man.
Yeah, I loved him, man. Wasn't he great in New Edition, man?
Yeah, he did great.
And Detroit, and he's there only a few minutes, and if the movie don't work without him, he did an excellent job. We're gonna go to these phone lines. We 888-742-3345. Francois from Yonkers. Francois, good morning.
Sway, what's up, Sway?
What's happening with you, bro?
I'm a resident, too. You made me a resident before, too.
Well,
but anyway.
I made you a citizen.
A resident?
Yeah, we ain't living together, dog.
Exactly.
We just hanging out in the mornings, bro.
My bad.
Nope.
You made me a citizen before. But I was just wanting to touch on, I was coming out of Precious before, right? So, this white family was crying. So they was like, well, how are you so strong? So how you so strong? Why you didn't cry during the movie? So I told the lady, I was like, listen, I come from this. I live next door to 100 Preciouses all my life. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying to say how out of touch that white people are to the ghetto. Like, you know, they need to go see these movies. Like, they don't know nothing about cashing in food stamps or things of that nature. You know, like, I didn't cry or was seeing Precious because I lived next door to a Precious before. Mm-hmm. I was raised with that. So you'll be surprised how out of touch these people are with the ghetto, man. It amazed me. I'm like, yo, this lady's crying. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So they need to come out and see these movies, and we need more documentaries on what goes on in these hoods and these ghettos, so-called ghettos, or whatever the nicknames they want to call them. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't know.
Interesting. That's why. Well, is that one of the reasons why you wanted to make this movie?
Mm-hmm. That's the reason why.
Okay.
I feel like 5 years ago we couldn't make this movie, man.
Yeah.
And that just shows how far we have come, because we got more African Americans, we got more women controlling the narrative now. We were just talking about Issa Rae. She has her show, Atlanta. Shonda's been killing it, you know. And this year alone, all the African American films. It's just now.
Now it's the time to do it. My daughter's here too. Kiyomi, you want to ask George a question real quick? My daughter Kiyomi came, and
look at that.
It's midterms.
We
right
work
now,
together too, so I can't wait to work with her.
Talk about when y'all work together. How'd she do?
She did amazing, man. She had the scene with The Rock and everything.
Oh, that was fun.
Yeah.
I know Marcia told me that I talk too much. So I had
he loved. That's all he did. He
situation.
talked to her the whole scene. The whole
We got the movie was Speed. What was the movie?
It was Faster.
Faster.
Yeah.
Faster.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Faster. Was the movie?
Yeah.
So I think now in the age, wow, this is really on the spot, but I'll figure it out. In the age of social media, there's so much documentation of police brutality acts, and some people say that people of my generation are being desensitized to it. So we see it so often that it's doesn't impact us necessarily the same way as one would think. So did you find any hesitation with creating that scene with Khalil and Starr and having that situation with the cop? Did you have any reservations about that?
Yeah, we were prepping the movie. The whole Philando Castile situation happened, and that was my inspiration for that shooting with Khalil. You know, we have become just so used to seeing that on YouTube. What I spent a lot of time was what we don't see, which is the relationship and the love between these two people, just two young people. And we get an understanding of why he was doing what he was doing, and you get an understanding why the police officer just shot him for no reason, you know. So all those things is helpful, and I really think starting with Rodney King, starting with the videotape back in the 90s, all that is very positive, because how are we going to see the truth? How are we going to be able to understand? Before, we didn't have video. Right. So I think it's a positive thing. But I think with movies like this, as an artist, we have to show the behind, the emotional part, which is the most important thing.
All right. Thank you, Kiyomi, my lovely daughter, ladies and gentlemen. She was amazing.
Yeah, amazing.
She was amazing. Look at her smile. George, can you get her another role, man, please?
We got to do it.
What we got to do, man? Let's get her in there, man. All right, cool. Okay, all right. Let's just stare at Kiyomi for a minute. No. Man, I want to thank you, bro, for constantly feeding the universe with all this great food for us to consume. Because that's how I look at it. It's consumption. You know, just if we drinking water, eating food, or watching movies, you know, we're consuming things mentally and physically. George Tillman Jr., man, give him a round of applause.
Thank you, guys.
The Hate You Give in limited theaters is out this Friday.
Wide, yep.
Take the entire family to see it. I don't care what walk of life you're from. If you're white, you're black, you're Asian, Latino, whatever. Russian, Polish,
Swedish,
Pacific Islander, doesn't matter.
If you're a teacher, take your students to it.
Yeah, take your students. Absolutely. It'll be a great conversation piece. We also want to thank A.J. Gibson for coming by this morning.
Yeah.
He has his new book, Flipping the Script, Bouncing Back from Life's Rock Bottom Moments, and Boots Riley. Sorry to bother you. Make sure you can order that on demand, or you can see it on DVD or Blu-ray now. Friend of mine.
Yeah, he's great. I just saw him, man.
I'm proud of that dude, man. Tracy, how can they reach you?
Yo, citizens, find me on Instagram. Had such a good time with y'all at It's Tracy G, ITSTRACYG.
Kiyomi, how can they reach you?
Ooh.
Oh, tell them about our list.
Oh, everyone, go and follow Calloway Curated. We're trying to give a platform to emerging artists. And my Instagram is Yomi Calloway.
Yes, and that's on Spotify. Our
yeah, it's
list.
on Spotify. Just type in Calloway Curated.
Okay.
Hey, if you want to check out some pictures of some beautiful women, go to OQ Shoots on Instagram.
DJ Wonder.
At DJ Wonder everywhere.
Look at my guest on it. You know the guy from Blackish?
Yeah.
All right, George, how can I reach you?
You know what, man? I'm still figuring all that stuff out.
George Tillman. It's a great social media Instagram.
I just started my Instagram, man.
Yeah.
It's a George underscore Tillman?
Yeah, that's it.
George underscore Tillman?
Yep.
All right, I'm going to follow you, man. Let's see where your followers are, man.
I just started, man.
That's all right, man. We're going to get some
old school.
citizens. Let's get some citizens to follow you. Citizens, follow this man, George underscore Tillman.
Yep.
And that's TILL
MAN. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, you got 4,800 followers.
I'm
and
still
82.
working it. Yeah,
Oh, that's good.
working.
Now you got 4,883 followers. All right. Okay. Citizens, follow them up. I'm at Real Sway across the board. You can catch all these interviews. We just had Grouchy Greg and Chuck Creekmer from allhiphop.com just celebrated their 20th anniversary. We posted that up. You can check that out. Also, Pam Grier came by last week. We just posted the interview with Pam Grier as well. The Pam Grier was here, man. Joey Perk was here. We posted that as well. Drag On from Rough Riders was here. Make sure you check all those things out. Until tomorrow, we have nothing left to say.